Hey
Hey
guys!
guys!
Today we're going to be speaking about professionalism and ethics.
Before we start this video, don't forget to like, smash that subscribe button and slam that bell icon so you never miss an upload. Let's jump right into it.
Imagine this, it's a crisp sunny morning, and you find yourself in a bustling city. You've dressed yourself in the finest professional attire, ready to attend a crucial business meeting. As you wait for your elevator to arrive, you overhear a conversation between two strangers nearby. They're discussing a business deal, and their words paint a vivid picture of professionalism and ethics in action.
I can't do business with him. They may offer a bigger profit, but their ethical track record is questionable at best. I value integrity above all else.
I've heard the employees are treated poorly, and that's just not the kind of company I want to associate with. It's not worth compromising my values.
Couldn't agree more in the long run. It's not just about the numbers, it's about building trust and reputation. It's about doing the right thing, even when it's not the easiest thing. You step into the elevator, deeply engrossed in this conversation. It's a reminder that professionalism and ethics aren't just buzzwords in the business world. They're guiding principles that influence decisions, shape reputations, and determine success of organizations.
So, what is ethics? Ethics is the study of moral principles and values that govern human behavior and guide individuals and societies in making morally right choices. Ethics explores questions about what is considered right or wrong, good or bad, and just or unjust.
There are many types of ethical behavior that can be referenced. However, in this video we will be focusing on the two ethical practices we feel are most relevant to people and South Africa.
Let's take a look at the different types of conflicts. First, we have the conflicts of interest, which occurs when an individual's personal interests or financial gain clash with their professional duties or responsibilities. For example, a doctor prescribing a medication because they have a financial stake in the pharmaceutical company that produces it. Next up, we have ethical dilemmas. These are situations where individuals are faced with difficult choices between conflicting ethical principles or values. For example, a journalist who must decide whether to protect their source's anonymity or reveal the source's identity to the authorities. Now we have our whistleblowing conflicts. These arise when employees or professionals witness unethical behavior within their organizations and must decide whether to report it, potentially risking their own careers or relationships. For example, an employee discovering accounting fraud in their company but fearing retaliation if they report it.
This is why you should have absolute good faith. Absolute good faith refers to the trust shared between businesses and people, employees and employers, and is based on the belief that everyone can deliver on their promises. Loyalty is an action that every person strives to have in any relationship, business or personal. Loyalty is a rare commodity, extremely valuable, that can make or break relationships. Before the viewers think I'm getting too personal, I'll reference it to an example. When Johnny Depp was taken to court by Amber Heard, all of the companies he was in business with had dropped him to save their own brand name except for Dior, who received a lot of praise for it, and when he was found innocent, their public image was empowered, and so were the clients of Dior.
And it's quiz time! A colleague has witnessed unprofessional behavior from a fellow colleague, and whether he chooses to report it or not is an example of A. A conflict of interest, B. Lack of loyalty, C. Whistleblowing conflicts, or D. An ethical dilemma. And cue the drum roll. The answer is C. Whistleblowing conflicts.
Clear policies being established is crucial because they provide a roadmap for consistent decision-making, legal compliance, employee guidance, and conflict resolution. Let's take a look at nepotism. Nepotism occurs when individuals in positions of authority show favoritism towards their family members or close friends, often leading to unfair advantages in hiring, promotions, or decision-making. It can erode trust among co-workers and compromise the meritocracy of the workplace.
Confidentiality and trust. Sharing sensitive information with a close friend or family member can breach confidentiality and trust in professional settings. Employees may be reluctant to share critical information or report issues if they fear it may harm their personal relationships. Professional boundaries are vital as they define the limits of appropriate behavior and interactions in the workplace. They ensure respect, maintain trust, and prevent conflicts, ultimately fostering a healthy and productive work environment. Bias and discrimination. Personal relationships can influence an individual's perception and attitude, potentially leading to a bias or discrimination in hiring, promotion, or treatment of coworkers. Discrimination may occur if an employee has a close relationship with someone who holds prejudiced views.
Let's take a look at bribery and corruption. The two different types of bribery. First, you have active bribery, which is the act of offering or giving bribes to someone in a position of authority or influence. Passive bribery is the act of receiving or accepting bribes in exchange for using one's position or authority to provide favors or advantages. Examples of bribery may include a company offering money to a government official to secure a contract, or a student bribing a teacher for a better grade. Let's take a look at the consequences of bribery. While bribery is illegal in most countries and can lead to severe legal penalties, including fines, imprisonment, and damage to one's reputation, it also erodes trust in institutions and can harm economies and societies.
There's two main types of corruption. Let's go and focus on them. First, we have up grand corruption, which involves high-ranking government officials or influential individuals engaging in corrupt practices that have a significant impact on a country's institutions and resources. Following that, we have petty corruption, which involves lower-level officials or individuals engaging in small-scale corrupt acts, often in exchange for minor personal gains. Some examples of this corruption is a government official embezzling public funds for personal use, or a manager hiring family members for jobs without proper qualifications. And one we all know, a police officer abusing their power to extort money from citizens. Although it may seem petty, corruption can have far-reaching consequences, including undermining the rule of law, stifling economic growth, perpetuating inequality, and reducing trust in public institutions. It can also lead to social unrest and political instability.
You may be wondering, what are some potential legal consequences of bribery and corruption for individuals and organizations? Well, potential legal consequences include fines, imprisonment, and legal penalties for both individuals and organizations. These legal actions can result in significant financial and reputational damage.
And now you may be wondering to that, how can bribery and corruption damage a company's reputation, and who are the stakeholders affected by this damage? Bribery and corruption can damage a company's reputation by eroding trust among stakeholders, including customers, investors, and employees. This loss of trust can lead to a decline in revenue and make it challenging to attract new business.
And it's quiz time! Who is the famous family that was charged with former President Jacob Zuma for absurd amounts of corruption? A. Is it the Patels? B. The Guptas? C. The Singhs? Or D. The Kutrapalis? Can I please get a drum roll? And the answer is B. The Guptas.
Let's take a look at some of the effects of corruption. Individuals involved in corruption may face criminal charges including bribery, fraud, embezzlement, money laundering, and abuse of power. Legal penalties can include fines, imprisonment, and asset seizures. Organizations can also be held liable for the corrupt actions of their employees, leading to legal actions, hefty fines, and damage to the company's reputation. The loss of competitive advantage. The business is no longer reputable, and consumers will tend to naturally strand away from it and look at rivals in your industry to support their needs. Financial losses include the loss in market share, fines, legal costs, and decreased profitability. And reduce employee confidence. Corruption can lead to poor employee morale due to the lack of trust, which will inevitably affect the business productivity and can inflict financial loss.
Strategies used to prevent negative professionalism and ethics in the workplace. Establish clear codes of conduct. Develop and communicate clearly. Comprehensive codes of conduct and ethical guidelines that outline expected behavior and standards of professionalism expected from your employees. And leading by example, it's a thing all older siblings have heard growing up, and it's quite clear what it means. Do what's right and people will eventually follow from the same demeanor, especially if you're in a high-ranking position. Whistleblower protection. Have a very safe protocol that protects employees who have been reported and those who report to diffuse situations from arising among the people within your business. A very important thing to have is to promote diversity and inclusion in the workplace. Create an inclusive work environment that respects and values diversity, fostering a culture of fairness and respect. Training and education. It is vital that employees are taught the values that need to be maintained as well as having expectations set out clear from management to ensure that there are no gaps in communication. With that being said, encourage open communication. Create channels for employees to discuss ethical concerns, seek guidance, and provide feedback on ethical matters.
Policies need to be followed strictly by employees and employers to ensure the safety of a business. Here is a few of the most common examples of policies that are used in current businesses. Gift and entertainment policy. It is aimed to be on a more friendship-based level as a token of trust and appreciation, and not to be seen as a token of bribery. The Equal Employment Opportunity Policy ensures that the organization provides equal employment opportunities to all individuals regardless of their race, gender, religion, or other protected characteristics. It emphasizes diversity and inclusion. Social responsibility and sustainability policy should be pretty self-explanatory. I hope so. The compliance and anti-corruption policy is used to prevent unethical and illegal behavior. This policy sets expectations for compliance with all applicable laws and regulations, including anti-corruption laws like the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. The drug and alcohol policy. This policy establishes guidelines for drug and alcohol use in the workplace, including testing, treatment, and consequences for violation. We then move on to the anti-harassment and anti-discrimination policy, which is used to protect the dignity of employees in the business space. This all links back to human resources, or HR as we know it. You may be wondering, what does HR have to do with this? HR is responsible for making sure that labor laws are upheld within a business. HR is also responsible for finding, recruiting, screening, training job applicants, handling employee compensation, benefits, and terminations of a business.
Let's look at principle-based theories. Utilitarianism. Utilitarianism holds that ethical decisions should maximize overall happiness or well-being. In a professional context, individuals and organizations assess actions based on the net benefit or harm they bring to stakeholders. The principle of utility guides decision-making, emphasizing outcomes and consequences. Deontology is the ethical theory that uses a set of rules to distinguish right from wrong in a way that leaves no room for gray areas. It's either right or wrong. Virtue ethics focuses more on an individual's moral compass and their character on a day-to-day basis rather than focusing solely on their actions.
Let's take a look at some consequence-based theories. Ethical egoism. Ethical egoism suggests that individuals should act in their own self-interest, seeking outcomes that maximize their own well-being. While this theory may seem self-centered, it can be applied in a professional context when individuals can make decisions that benefit themselves, as long as these actions do not cause significant harms to others. Full utilitarianism is a variation of utilitarianism that emphasizes adherence to rules or principles that, when followed consistently, produce the best overall consequences. In professionalism, individuals and organizations may establish ethical rules or guidelines based on their expected positive outcomes. Act utilitarianism, in contrast to rule utilitarianism, evaluates the morality of individual actions based on their specific consequences. Professionals utilizing this approach assess each action independently to determine if it produces the best overall outcomes. Consequentialism is similar to virtue ethics, where actions are judged through objective observations, usually when the morality of a decision is in question. For example, lying is wrong. However, lying to save a life seems like lying is the correct choice to be made.
Risks regarding negative professionalism and ethics. Poor organizational culture. A culture that tolerates negative professionalism and ethics can become toxic. It may foster dishonesty, unethical decision making, and lack of accountability, negatively affecting teamwork and collaboration. Productivity and loss. Unethical behavior, such as fraud or favoritism, can divert resources, time, and energy away from productive work. This can lead to a decline in overall productivity and business performance. Note that unethical behavior or unprofessional conduct can tarnish your reputation, making it difficult to build trust and maintain relationships with colleagues, clients, or superiors. People are less likely to trust or collaborate with someone who exhibits negative professionalism or ethics, which can hinder teamwork and productivity. Let's take a look at a possible question that could be asked. Explain how a culture of unethical behavior within an organization can lead to operational risks and inefficiencies. A possible answer for this question would be unethical behavior can lead to operational risks such as internal fraud, employee turnover, and poor decision making. Inefficiencies arise from a lack of transparency, accountability, and trust among employees.
Professional behavior and codes of conduct. I'm not sure about you, but I've never been through a whole code of conduct. So what we're going to do is jump through to the most important ones, and the rest you can read by yourself. Both ethics and professionalism emphasize the importance of integrity. Professionals are expected to act with honesty and maintain high ethical standards in their interactions with clients, colleagues, and the public. Ethical professionals are also expected to be competent in their field of expertise. Maintaining and enhancing one's skills and knowledge is not only a professional obligation, but also an ethical one, as it ensures that clients receive the best possible service or care. Respect for others is a fundamental ethical principle. Professionals should treat all individuals with respect, regardless of differences in background, beliefs, or status. This fosters a professional and ethical work environment. Some other ethical behaviors involve transparency, fair practices, and environmental responsibility, while on the other side there's unethical behavior of fraudulent accounting, exploitative practices, and insider trading.
Let's take a look at ethical and unethical behavior within the government. Ethical behavior includes taking accountability and fair representation, while unethical behavior involves corruption, abuse of power, and nepotism.
Ethical behaviors within the market environment involve fair trade, environmental standards, and human rights being upheld, while unethical behavior is exploitation, environmental harm, and supporting authoritarian regimes.
Let's take a look at ethical and unethical behavior within professions and associated codes of behavior. Ethical behavior includes medical ethics, legal ethics, and journalistic ethics, whereas unethical behavior includes medical malpractice, legal misconduct, and yellow journalism. Yellow journalism is a style of journalism that emphasizes sensationalism over facts. It typically involves exaggerating or distorting news stories to attract readers or viewers.
Here are the principles of professionalism. I'll not be going through it in depth, but please feel free to pause and see as you feel fit. Over here we have competency, integrity, respect, objectivity, confidentiality, transparency, avoid self-interest, commitment, caring, and environment responsibility. Here are some key points that connect ethics and professionalism: integrity, confidentiality, competence, transparency, and respect.
In conclusion, to sum up, what we can learn is how us as individuals should apply ethics and professionalism in our personal and professional life to adopt principles and behaviors that align with ethical standards and societal norms. Practice integrity. Act honestly and transparently in all your interactions, both personal and professional. Avoid engaging in dishonest or unethical behavior such as lying, cheating, or fraud. Promote accountability. Take responsibility for your actions, including acknowledging and correcting mistakes. Hold others accountable for their actions when necessary. Set boundaries. Establish clear boundaries between your personal and professional life to avoid conflicts of interest. Disclose any potential conflicts when they arise. Continue learning. Stay informed about evolving ethical standards and best practices in your field. Engage in ongoing self-improvement to enhance your ethical decision-making skills. And lastly, define your values. Reflect on your personal values and principles to identify what ethical conduct means to you. Consider how these values align with the values of your organization or profession.